when it comes to fashion, I do really well with structure. I really cannot be bothered, so please just tell me what to wear in any given situation. When I was in high school, I got transferred out of a private Catholic girls' school and had to go back to public school, and losing my friends was kind of hard, but what was really upsetting was losing my uniform and having to figure out what to wear every day. When I was in Africa, I lived in Africa as a Peace Corps volunteer, and I was perfectly fine putting up with malaria and mosquitoes and heat and no electricity, because all I had to do every morning was decide what color muumuu to put on over my head with my flip-flops. So you would think that my current line of work is a good one. I'm an addictions therapist at a women's prison, and prisons are pretty structured places. So the officers, for instance, get to wear uniforms, and the inmates basically get to wear gray. So they wear gray sweats and gray t-shirts and gray socks and gray shoes, and that's kind of what they wear. And I really had to rethink some things, and I've never shared this with any of my clients or inmates because I don't want to belittle their situation, but there was a minute where I really rethought my policy on knocking over convenience stores, because I thought, okay, this is a life where you get to wake up every single morning and put on sweats, and you don't even have to choose what color. So I really kind of had a moment. But unfortunately, I'm not I guess not unfortunately. I'm neither an officer nor an inmate. I'm in the administrative category, so that gives me just enough freedom to be a little bit dangerous with what I wear. Because there are a lot of rules governing what I wear on any given day. Every day when I walk in, I see a big sign, and the sign has the following rules on it. No tank tops, no halter tops, no mini dresses, no mini skirts, no culottes at or above the knee. No form-fitting clothing such as spandex, leotards, or leggings. No see-through clothing, no clothing that exposes a person's midriff, side, or back. No revealing necklines or excessive splits. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, who needs to be told not to wear a leotard to work? And my answer to you is this: I don't know. But in my mind every morning when I envision this, it's somebody in that Mary Lou Retton leotard with the stars and the stripes, and she does this awesome vaulting somersault through the metal detector, lands perfectly, sticks the landing, and is ready for her pat down. Every morning starts for me with a pat down that goes like this. Good morning, morning, my weekend was good, woo, got me again. Okay, and then I proceed on with my transparent bag. Now, the pat down when I was first starting work, which is when this story begins, was a very stressful experience, because if I got anything wrong and I violated any of the rules, and you have to realize that a lot of the rules in prison are not written and they kind of change and it's very confusing, but if I get this wrong, I get sent home, and I have to go home 45-minute drive to change and then drive 45 minutes back. And with gas prices being what they are, that's not really what I'm trying to do. So it used to really freak me out. So you can imagine how excited I was when I learned about Jeans Day. And Jeans Day is a much lower stress situation because even I was feeling a little restricted fashion-wise at this place. And so Jeans Day happens every couple of Fridays for the very economical price of $2 or 3 for $5. And for this, I was willing to pay pretty much anything. So I was really excited when I bounded out of bed to go to Jeans Day. Well, as much as you can be when it's 5:30 in the morning. And I got up and I really kind of thought this through, because there was part of me that was still a little scared. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna play it low key for my first Jeans Day, because I'm kind of afraid that I've gotten the day wrong and I'm gonna be pushing the art, they're gonna send me home, or it's not really happening with Jeans Day. Part of me thought maybe I should put some clothes in the car just in case, because I couldn't really believe they were gonna let me walk in this place with jeans. So I thought, let me just be nonchalant about myself. So I got up, I put on a fairly dressy pair of jeans, some gray Converse, a gray Ann Taylor Loft t-shirt, a gray belt that I thought really kind of tied everything together. And I remember thinking to myself, is the belt gonna set off? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to wear a belt with the metal detector? And then I thought, you know what? It's Jeans Day, let's live on the edge. Let's just go crazy. So I went through the rest of my mental checklist. I knew that my neckline was fine because it was an Ann Taylor Loft shirt, so there was nothing revealing about the whole situation. I made sure, bra, no underwires in the bra, no holes in my jeans, check, 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 everything's fine. So I proceeded in through the gatehouse with my transparent bag, and I didn't have any problems, except they kind of gave me a couple weird looks, but I figured they were just jealous because we got to wear jeans and they had to wear their uniforms. So I got through the gatehouse and I proceeded on to the housing unit where I work, And the inmates were kind of looking at me a little bit funny, and one of them came up to me and she was like, "Miss Kays, you look like us today." And I was like, and then they kind of said it with an air of concern, but I thought, oh, it's probably because it's like when you see your kindergarten teacher at the grocery store and you're all confused, and so seeing us in jeans is really weird. So I went on about my day, I did my groups, I did my sessions, and then I did what I always do in my preparation to go home. I said goodbye to my office mate, turned off my computer, grabbed my transparent purse, and headed out to go back out through the 12 doors between me and freedom. And the walk leaving has become sort of a ritual for me because, I mean, as you can imagine, prison is rather confining. It's also very loud and very stressful. And so I've kind of started to take this 20-minute walk as kind of a nice, relaxing ritual. The prison grounds are oddly enough kind of like a college campus. There are a number of separate brick buildings. There's a volleyball court. There are geese that meander along. There's a groundhog that the inmates have named George. It's really quite nice. So I was proceeding on my walk and I heard the usual cackle of the officers' walkie-talkies ahead, you know, doing the usual, "Is movement on hold? Please confirm. Movement is on hold. 10-4, movement is on hold. Over." And I kind of, as a returned Peace Corps volunteer, was feeling pretty impressed with myself with this having infiltrated this culture in only 3 weeks, where I now knew phrases like movement on hold, and that meant that everybody was locked down into their buildings and that there could be no inmates moving around the campus or the compound. So I proceeded on my walk, and then I heard the walkie-talkies again, and this time they sounded a little bit agitated. "Please confirm, movement is on hold. Over. Why is there an inmate moving on the compound? Over. Confirm. Over." And I started to think to myself, now this is kind of exciting. I wonder if I am about to see an escape. And my second thought is, as long as it's not one of my clients, that will be awesome. If it is one of my clients, that will be highly embarrassing, because I'm supposed to be teaching them how to think and to not take risks. So I also started to really think, I was kind of admiring, I was looking around trying to find this inmate, and I was kind of admiring her because I didn't know this at the time, but I had been told when I started work that there were snipers everywhere, and that if I broke into a run at any given point, even if it was pouring down rain, that I would be shot on sight. So I was really like, this girl is a badass, and I kind of want to see her try to escape. I was also thinking about, as I often do, like how you would escape. I knew that one woman had been helicoptered out, and I kind of thought that would be cool to see and make a really good story. So I was wondering if that was it. And then I was looking at the fence, and I was like, is the fence electric? Is it on? Like, how much razor wire cuts can a person take? So these are the thoughts that I'm kind of really like getting excited about seeing this girl trying to escape. But I'm looking around and I'm noticing that there's not anyone out there, which is why it's so confusing when, again, the walkie-talkies seem like really agitated when I notice them again. And they're like, "Why is that inmate moving on the compound? The inmate should not be moving on the compound. Stop that inmate, hold that inmate should not be moving." And I'm like, this is so weird because there is no one out here except me. I'm out here, and I noticed that the officer is staring at me in a very agitated fashion as he talks on his walkie-talkie, and then I noticed that the other officer is reaching for her cuffs. And I don't really understand what's going on, but I know enough to immediately say, hold out my transparent bag and my ID badge and say, "I am not an inmate, I work here, I swear I'm not an inmate, please don't take me down." At which point I think we all breathed a huge sigh of relief. I'm not actually sure who was more scared at that moment, them or me. They immediately gave me a very stern lecture when I approached, and that was how I began to understand what had happened. There are many stern lectures in prison, and this one went something like this. "What do you think you're wearing gray in here? You can't wear gray in here. The inmates wear gray in here. You gotta wear like bright yellow or pink or something. What is wrong with you?" To which I thought, of course, of all the thousands of rules running through my head every morning, it should have occurred to me that one of them should be, do not wear the same color as the inmate. So as I proceeded through door number 5 and then eventually back out to the parking lot, I had a moment where I finally truly came to understand for myself the message that I spend my days trying to help my clients understand, which is that, you can break rules. You can. And it's very easy to allow that to get you into prison. The problem is that if you keep breaking rules, it makes it very hard to get back out.